Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the 3DO Experience, the 3DO Retrospective Podcast, where we talk about all things 3DO, the company, the console, and everything in between. I am Bill, and this is Threk. How you doing, Threk?
Oh, Bill, I am feeling excited and exploratory because I decided to watch a TV show start to finish. Oh my God, can you believe it?
Nice.
I've picked Star Trek Voyager.
Oh, nice.
Yes, I've already watched the first 4 episodes of season 1. So,
Isn't it so weird? Like, especially with what you know later.
It starts a little slow, yeah, though it'll get better. So, but we might make this like a mild thing where every week you can be like, how's Voyager going? And then I'll tell you. So
just waiting for you to get to the one where he turns into the lizard man.
When Janeway and Paris become salamanders.
Yeah, and they supposedly mate. that's a and they never acknowledge it again.
Well, the one I just watched was like, it's like the weird non-canon one where they somehow like go through a rift in time and they go to like this civilization like right before like a big explosion happens and kills everybody, and then and then the kid who's like a reporter is like, they're demons, they eat children, and Tom Paris is like, you're damn right, I'm gonna eat your face, and the kid's like,
I forgot how edgy he was early on.
Oh, Tom Paris is great. Yeah, I mean, it's his same character in TNG. It's the same guy. Like, I was reading about that. A funny story is McNeil, Robert McNeil, was on episode of TNG. I forget the name of the episode, but it's like him, Wesley Crusher, and all them. I think they were the Valiant. I think they were piloting the Valiant or whatever. Then some crazy shit happens, and Tom Paris is like, freaking out. But he's not called Tom Paris. He's called like Robert Leonardo or like a different name.
Yeah.
But when they were casting for Voyager, they really liked his character, and so they wanted somebody, like, literally in the call sheet was a Robert Duncan McNeil type. And then his agent found that, called him and said, hey, look, I think you might have a shot at this. You might. Go audition. You might get this part. And he did, and then they renamed him to Tom Paris. I like the name more. And also, I think renaming him, they didn't have to pay the writer of that TNG episode royalties.
Yeah.
So they got away with it. Yeah. No, he's great. Yeah. No, my favorite's the Doctor. Who doesn't love Robert Picardo?
Robert Picardo, like, he makes some of those rougher early episodes of Voyager so much more easy to get through.
But really, that's like every Star Trek show, is that it starts rough because they have to establish everything. And when you have like all these crew members and like every kind of, and you're trying to establish like, lore and set rules and remind people of the Prime Directive and all this other stuff, it takes a while. But everybody knows Voyager gets better when 7 of 9 shows up. But I got till the end of season 3 till I get there. So
yeah.
But no, Picardo's great.
Picardo's really good.
I am 10.4 centimeters shorter than last time you saw me.
I do enjoy. I love the band. The entire cast is like fun.
I'm a doctor, not a doorstop.
Yeah, they're like super. It's like a really underrated cast.
I'll talk about it more when I get deeper into Voyager. But it's it ends up being a bit disappointing because there's so many things I like about the show, but it also like it doesn't take the risks it needed to be as great of a show as it could have been. But it's been a while, and I don't remember every single episode, so why not? I've been cherry picking like TNG and TOS, so and it's like, I don't want the wall that is Deep Space Nine. I don't want that right now. So yeah. Maybe later. Maybe we'll watch Enterprise. That'd be fun.
I'm honestly, like, I've been in the mood for sci-fi. I'm really considering doing a Babylon 5 rewatch pretty soon because that's my sci-fi show.
Yeah, that's basically what I've been doing, is watching Voyager. So how are you, Bill?
Doing all right. Getting through work week. I'm going to a NASCAR race this weekend, so that's fun.
Nice. It's Employee Appreciation Week at my work. So I got like a free shirt and a free mug and a couple gift cards, which is neat. So it's all right. It's a neat little thing they do. I don't care.
I ignored my Employee Appreciation Week when it happened.
I'm still sitting in my cubicle doing stuff because stuff has to be done. So yeah. It's just nice when they're like, here's like a $20 gift card to our the cafe downstairs. I'm like, oh, that's nice, thank you.
Yeah, we didn't get any of that fun stuff.
That's okay. So
we got some golf balls that I'm never going to use. So
well, there you go.
I get free golf balls so often, and I'm like, what am I ever going to do with these? I gave my mom like 24 once because I was like, here.
You could start throwing them through people's windows.
No, that's illegal.
But golf balls are so prevalent they won't know who it is.
I think they will.
I'm trying to get Bill to do crimes. Well, speaking of crimes, today we're here to talk about Romance of the Three Kingdoms. But before we get to that, we'll get through our news. First thing was, I think this happened after we recorded last week. Yes. The 2011 action RPG, The Lord of the Rings War in the North, got a shadow drop and a new legacy edition done by Aspire. So the funny thing is, this game came out like 2 weeks or a week and a half before Skyrim. So that's why nobody remembers this game.
They'll do it.
In fact, one of the original producers was interviewed, and they said, like, yeah, we shouldn't have done that. We should have like delayed it like 6 months or something like that. But yeah, it has a new release. It runs at 4K 60. It's available on everything. It's $20. And also along those lines, Aspire said that they are planning to do more releases of Lord of the Rings games in the future, like do the older ones like they had done with Star Wars, which has a lot of people excited, including me, because there was an era of Lord of the Rings games that were fantastic. The Two Towers game, The Return of the King, Third Age, Battle for Middle-earth 2, Conquest, so on and so forth. A lot of really, really solid titles there. The problem is just about all of those were published and developed by EA, Electronic Arts. So the question is, how are they going to get the rights to these? I don't know. I mean, there's a chance because EA is bought by the Saudis and they have a bunch of new debt now that they might be willing to sell the rights to these games to Aspire to make some money to pay off their new debt. That's very possible. We don't know. But yeah, this is cool. I haven't played this yet. I've been kind of busy with Thrak Ops and some other stuff. So basically, once it's going to be my next like fun game when I have a little bit of time in there. So, that'll be cool. And Bill, I know you don't care, so I'm not even going to ask your opinion.
That's fair. Matt's punching the air somewhere right now. All right, Matt.
That's okay. But speaking of more stuff Bill doesn't care about, the Dustbloods network test, the codes have now been sent out. So anybody listening to this who agreed to participate in the network test for the Duskbloods, go check that account. Your code to download the test might be in there. I checked, mine is there, so it is installed on my Switch, ready to go. It doesn't start, the test kicks off Friday the 21st and runs kind of intermittently through Monday the 24th. So, I'll try to sneak in there when I can. So in fact, I think in the Discord we'll try to organize some times for that. So, but something, Bill, you might actually care about. So there was a Simpsons panel at the Disney's D23 convention. What the hell is Disney's D23? What does that mean?
I think that's just it's like their like big like financial meeting or something, or like convention or something.
It feels like it's their Comic-Con.
Yeah,
in a weird way, because Disney has so much shit now that they can just throw it all into one building. But anyways, so there was a Simpsons panel, and somebody asked them about, one attendee asked the panel whether now that a second Simpsons movie was on the way, that there was a potential for a second Hidden Run game. And Matt Groening, you all might know who Matt Groening is. He kind of let slip out. He's like, I don't know if I'm speaking out of turn, but I think the original game is coming back in some form, he says, and everyone's like, yo, what the fuck? And after this pause, he just goes, or not. So yeah, he just kind of leaked that I guess Hit and Run, I guess they finally figured it out. They finally figured out the rights issues.
I know, because I don't know who owns the Simpsons license at this point, but like I know that game has been like a weird mess just because the fact that it was published by Vivendi, which means Activision, which means
Microsoft owns it technically, and then Disney owns the Simpsons license. And
Radical's technically dead, sort of, maybe. We don't
yeah,
know.
but the developers usually don't own rights to the games in that way. But my guess is Disney probably saw all of the. I mean, they've been having some success recently with bringing back some of their older games, right? With like putting out releases of the old Star Wars games, the Epic Mickey remaster, all this other stuff. And they're probably like, you know what? Let's see if we can figure out this hit and run thing. Because the last Simpsons game that was made was like some fucking mobile game.
Oh,
That doesn't
Capo, yeah.
yeah, that doesn't exist anymore because EA was the last to have the rights. They made the game around the first movie.
That has nothing to do with the movie.
No, but again, a perfectly fine game.
That game still has one of the greatest like ads ever, where it ends with the coming to every console ever.
and people got mad because some of the consoles they listed were like still currently current consoles that weren't getting versions, so they had to redo the trailer because they had like Dreamcast and TurboGrafx 16, like those jokey ones, but then they threw in some other like dead consoles that were still not dead at the time. So they redid it with just the actual consoles that it was coming to. I remember that.
I always remember that ad because it was so like, this is an ad that like nobody's going to get.
Yeah, and the most I see of Simpsons in games these days is I keep getting this fucking ad for like it's like a Monopoly game on your phone that's doing a Simpsons collab. I'm sure Simpsons are in Fortnite as well, so But again, maybe they just finally figured out like, hey, let's figure out this goddamn rights situation with hit and run so we can put this game out. But
what if it's also kind of like the SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, where like
they just go in and remaster?
It's either that or like the speedrunning community was a big part of getting that game back off the ground.
That'd be nice. I mean, I don't know how much of a speedrun community Hit and Run has. I'm sure it has one.
Summoning Salt did a video on it, and it's really funny because like the record was like literally held by like one dude for like 2 decades. Like it was crazy.
Yeah. So, I mean, with that logic, maybe it's Purple Lamp. Maybe that's what Purple Lamp's working on right now.
Maybe.
So, because they've been doing like they did the SpongeBob stuff, they've done some work with Disney, so they already have that connection. So, because I don't think they would just port it. Like, I mean, Aspire could just port it, but I feel like that would be kind of. It'd be a bit of a shrug. Whereas with Battle for Bikini Bottom, it was like, they went in and like did a complete like overhaul and like basically remade the game.
As much as Hit and Run is a great game, it is a fugly looking game these days.
Well, it has its problems. So I think Dre made a Blue Sky about this, where he's like, "Dude, the only reason people like this thing is because of nostalgia." And I had to say to him, like, I think it's a good game, but it's not like an amazing game. Like, I think some people forget how annoying and frustrating that game can be at times, where like the time limits, they give you just enough time. Just barely enough time to do things.
AI in that game is fucking stupid.
Oh my god, it's insane. Like again, the game has its problems. It's still a really cool game, and I would definitely buy if they do like a remaster remake of it. I would definitely buy it.
Oh yeah, just to play it again.
But I think a lot of people would get around to and be like, "Oh, this game is like a lot more frustrating than I remember." It's like, well, yeah. Like I don't forget. Like if you manage to get to the Apu section, Jesus Christ. Also, are they going to keep the Apu stuff?
They kind of have to. It's pretty integral to the game.
I mean, yeah. So I don't.
Most of the major plot happens in his story for some reason.
Yeah.
That was always a weird choice, but sure.
I mean, people like Apu. At least I thought they did. I don't know. So yes, I guess a hit and run something will be happening in the future, which sounds exciting. Actually,
See,
I'd be down for that.
That's actually the thing. They probably. Would they just keep the original voice work? I hope they would, because the cast can't fucking do their voices anymore.
I mean, that's what they did with Battle for Bikini Bottom. They kept the same original voice tracks and the original soundtrack. Well, because some people, because some people thought, would they get Clancy Brown back for it? And it's like, no, they're not going to do that work. So no, they didn't bother. And I feel like with Hit and Run, they wouldn't bother either, and that's fine.
I'd hope not, because
nothing about it is like necessarily outdated. Like the humor is still the humor. So.
Yeah, because like Julie Kavner can't do Marge's voice anymore. It's actually sad watching modern Simpsons now. You're just like,
Yeah,
they're dying. Like it's getting sad.
one day they'll kill it, and then we'll all go finally. But we're not there yet. Let's see. Speaking of Epic Mickey and speaking of death, I just on that one. Acclaimed game designer Warren Spector has announced his retirement from game development.
Has he done anything since Epic Mickey 2?
That I don't know. But yeah, but he's worked on Epic Mickey. He's worked on System Shock, Deus Ex, Thief, Crusader No Remorse, if you guys know that game. But basically he talked about like how games just like he has a whole interview about why he's stepping down, and basically he's just like, hey, I'm just not really enjoying making games anymore. And it feels like Warren Spector is one of those guys who's been around forever, made a lot of iconic video games and deserves the iconic status that he has. But I hate to say that maybe gaming has passed him by a little bit. I don't know. I know he was
showed that a little bit.
Well, and also I think he was a part of the team that was going to do System Shock 3.
On Wikipedia, it still says TBA.
Well, because they never technically canceled that. So, but yeah, it's just it is what it is, right? Like,
he was a producer on Thick as Thieves.
Good for him.
Whatever that is.
Exactly. But yeah, but good for him. I hope he enjoys his retirement. So, let's see here. Netflix is shutting down Oxenfree studio Night School 6 weeks after their last game was released. So, another studio shutdown, boys. So they acquired the studio in 2021. They were the first proper studio to be acquired by Netflix. Night School, they made Oxenfree and then Oxenfree 2, which I remember people flipping their lid at a Nintendo Direct for Oxenfree 2, and I'm like, what the fuck is Oxenfree? But then they also made a couple games that were like, you remember when like Netflix had like the like interactive stuff that they, like the cloud stuff. They did some of that as well. So yeah, just another case of a studio dying, and really fucking sad,
It's a shame because like aside from like Oxenfree, most of their games were iOS, Androids. That's usually never a great sign.
Yeah. And because Netflix is like backing away from their gaming push, because in the pandemic they were kind of pushing for it, because that's when gaming was inflated, and then they've seen the deflate and they were just like, oh shit. But also Netflix has never really been financially savvy. But
no,
we don't need to talk about that right now. Speaking of things shutting down, Pokemon Bank is going to be shutting down in February of 2027, with players advised to transfer their data to Pokemon Home. So now, so this was the 3DS like way of storing all your Pokemon. Is that correct?
Yes, I used that once when it was free, and then they added a price to it, and I said, nah.
They were charging people for this shit?
Uh-huh.
God.
The second they added a fucking charge to it, I'm like, I don't need that anymore.
God,
I don't need to transfer.
Fucking stupid.
I transferred like two Pokemon.
Home is free, right?
That's a good question.
It fucking better be.
Let me check. It's one of the first things that comes up. Yes, Pokemon Home is free. Oh, it has a free tier. You can pay for it if you want.
At least they give you the free option.
Yeah, at least it stayed free. Bank did not stay free.
Yeah, but so this was the 3DS thing, and if I remember back then, people were figuring out how to like store Pokemon from like their Gen 1 days into this thing through like generations of transfer, but you could do it.
Oh, it was wild shit.
Yeah, but Home doesn't really have that as far as I know. But everything you have in Bank can go just right over, no problem.
You can, I believe it's pretty simple. It's just one of those things where like you gotta be like, fuck, where's my 3DS? And then you check, you're like, do I even have this thing still?
Right. But yeah, it probably just a case of like, they're still shutting all the 3DS stuff down, because when did they shut down those stores? It was a couple years ago now.
A couple years ago, yeah.
And then when that happened, people were like, what about Pokemon Bank? They're like, oh, it'll still be fine. They made it free after that. They're like, it's fine. It'll still run for now. But, now they're shutting it down February 27th or February 25th, 2027. So, for those of you who are still using Pokemon Bank, go switch over to home so you don't lose your fucking Pikachu from 1998.
I'm waiting for like those like people that come out of the woodworks who haven't touched the thing in fucking a decade to be
and get mad and whine.
They're like, this is an outrage, Nintendo. And Nintendo's just gonna literally tell them to eat shit like usual. So
yeah, exactly. So, but also in this article they mentioned that the Switch re-releases of Fire Red and Leaf Green do have Pokemon Home connectivity. I couldn't remember if they did or not. So
it makes sense.
Okay, so there's that at the very least, but
if you want to pay $15 for that, but sure.
Exactly. All right. Our last thing, we were talking about the Disney thing. I guess we gotta fucking bring this shit up. So Disney remembered that Kingdom Hearts existed and did a whole shebang about Kingdom Hearts at their thing. So I guess we're getting a fucking anime. Yep. We're getting there's probably gonna be a manga too or something, and also
there already is.
Yeah, of course there is. But on top of that, they did a nice new trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4, featuring a world based on Pixar's Coco, which is good. They're actually doing a new world for once. That's
I would say it's not so much Disney remembered Kingdom Hearts exist. It's like Nomura finally did enough shit that they could actually talk about it.
I mean, considering they're finally wrapping up the Final Fantasy trilogy. Yeah. Now they have no excuse to delay Kingdom Hearts 4 because that was always the excuse. They're like, we're working on FF7 trilogy, so when we're done, we'll talk about 4. And to be fair, they are talking about it.
They'll talk about it. I guarantee it's going to be delayed still though because it's Nomura. He takes fucking forever on everything.
So, and they also said it's going to come out on Switch 2. They announced that. Well, also, I guess Nomura confirmed that it'll be out by I think he said late 27. Let me confirm that real quick.
So no
Let's
physicals.
See. Right here. He said Kingdom Hearts 4 is set to be released late 2027. Which of course people were like, "Are you sure about that?" And he's like, right here he says, "We announced that the game is going to be coming in late 27." And I saw online that some people were saying, "Oh, maybe the actual release date might still get pushed back." I just want to set the record straight. This is not happening. So I do hope that people do look forward to the game coming in 2027. A lot of the marketing for the game has only just started, and so I do hope that people also look forward to hearing more news as well. So he's doubling down. He is doubling down on the late 27 release date.
The sad part is though, people are so pessimistic with him that most people are still like, mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm still waiting for Shinji Mikami to cut his head off.
Fair.
So, it is what it is. If you know, you know. But that's all our news.
We did get new Nintendo music.
Yes, because it coincides with Mario Sunshine finally getting released on the NSO after all this time. Took them 6 years after Mario All-Stars.
I haven't tried it yet. I'm not even sure if it's a good port or not.
I think I've heard it's fine. It's just the GameCube version.
True.
But I've rarely heard of any NSO ports not being good. They're usually just fine.
Aside from the N64 app, that app kind of was.
Oh yeah, it started bad. It got better though. It's fine now.
Because I know when 64 came out on it, everyone was like, "Oof!" Like if you don't own the trilogy.
Yeah. So, but it's fine now. So, but now we have finally a soundtrack I've been wanting.
Sunshine has a very good soundtrack.
I mean, you guys know me. I'm a Sunshine defender. Some people give me shit for that. You're wrong. How dare you not be able to enjoy this game? Get good, you bitches. Okay. I mean, I'm sorry if the fucking Corona Lake is too hard. How about learn to fucking spray your goddamn flood, you bitches? Okay. Calling you out.
Perfectly fun.
I'm calling you out.
If you just play it to completion, you don't need to get all the shines because fuck that.
Oh yeah, don't bother with the blue coins. No, the blue coins are a placeholder because of development time. So don't worry about those.
See, people complain about certain levels. I'm the guy that's always like, yuck, chucksters. Fuck that level so much.
It's not that bad.
I hate the chuckster level.
Just give it a second. And like everybody just runs up to him immediately and doesn't look. How about look where you're fucking. Everybody ever told you look both ways before you cross the street, motherfucker? Do it in a video game. You're not 5, you're 30. Stop bitching about being a dumbass. That's your fault at this point. Your fault.
Thankfully, I believe you can skip it. So like, if you really don't,
Yeah,
want
you don't
do
have to. I don't think you have to do the Chucksters, but still.
Because I think you can skip all the bullshit. Like you can skip the Sandbird if you really don't want to do the Sandbird. You can skip the pachinko machine if you don't want.
You don't. Well, actually, from what I remember, that's actually the biggest issue with Sunshine is that you can't skip levels. You have to do them in order. I just remember that. Like with Sunshine, like that's the issue people had with it is that you have to go in order. Like you have to do episode 1, episode 2, episode 3.
Yeah, you could.
So if there is one you run into that you're having issues with, because there are some levels that have some BS in them. Like it's like, oh, you're fucked, kid. You got to sit here and figure it out.
Was always odd in that game to me.
It's better than 64's though.
Well, yeah, 64 used like weird button shit.
Yeah, but it has some cool things in it, and it's a rare case of like Nintendo like going nuts with a gimmick, because they don't usually do that, especially in Mario games with like the new gimmicks. They're usually like pretty good about spacing them out, and here it's just like, nah, just flood everything. Who cares?
I'm
just
amazed
awesome.
They haven't like even really referenced like that in the movies. Like Flood feels like.
I mean, they could do a Sunshine movie.
Or at least just have Flood appear or something. Like I feel like that would be easy money.
I think they will at some point. You know, they're not going to blow their load already. I think honestly, if they did like a standalone Sunshine movie, I would actually be excited for that.
Because they like vaguely reference Sunshine with Bowser Jr. in like Galaxy movie, but that's about it.
Yeah. So, but Sunshine, I hold a special place in my heart because that was the new Mario game when I like got the GameCube and I was getting into everything. You know, like Sunshine was the one. So that's why I hold a special place in my heart. And also its soundtrack's
phenomenal.
I mean, I have to.
Also,
if you don't like Isle Delfino, you're fucked in the head, okay?
I love the
I mean, that's not even my favorite. That's not even my favorite tune on in the game. It's just that's the one, right?
I mean, I always love the whenever you went into those like platforming sections and that remix of like the Mario theme.
Oh, that's like done by like sounds like it's done by like the Manhattan Transfer.
Yeah, it's just like some fun. Yeah, it was such a creative game.
Yeah, the Proto Galaxy stuff. Everyone's like, that's the best part of the game. I'm like, are you sure? You sure, pal?
It's definitely a fun part of the game.
I mean, I think the whole game is fun. I think people are just whiny.
Yeah.
It's just certain people who are, you know, like they'll say get good on fucking Dark Souls, but then they're like, oh, this game is too hard. Like, no, it's not. Fucker, get good.
I still love the cringy as fuck voice acting. It is like my favorite part of the game.
Yeah, because GameCube was like the only time Nintendo genuinely tried voice acting.
For Mario, anyways, because they have like Kid Icarus Uprising. That game is like one of those weird ones where they're like, wow, they actually tried and got professional voice actors.
That had to be a Nomura thing.
Yeah, probably.
I feel like that had to be being like, come on, guys, you know. Well, and then they did with Other M. Other M was bad. So.
I wouldn't say they got professionals for that one. That game.
No. Well, they got professional voice actors.
The directors, the direction.
Well, the director was just Nakamura.
Let's make Samus as boring as fuck.
They didn't get actual voice directors. That was the problem.
It's like Sonic games prior to Unleashed.
Oh, no, Sakamoto. Sorry, Yoshihiro Sakamoto, who is the creator of Metroid. He did the voice directing, and that's why it's like he clearly had no experience in it. So you've been better off getting George Lucas.
Yeah.
Oh, this is now Samus goes through this spaceship door, you know, and then she fights a creature.
Sand. It's rough, of course, and gets everywhere.
Now, good job, Hayden. I want you to make that a little less dramatic. Could you do that for me? Okay, thank you.
Show less emotion. Be a robot. Like you are destined.
Steven, am I directing it right?
He's like a director who got like a couple really good movies, but then like the rest is bad.
Again, George Lucas is a good ideas man. You know, he's the guy that you like. He like gives you the rough idea, and then you give it to like he'll write the rough draft of the script, and then you give it to a script writer who actually cleans it up and does the stuff. And it's like, okay, fine, you know. I mean, that's why the original trilogy 5 and 6 he didn't direct those.
Yeah.
He gave it to other people to do, like actual directors to do.
It shows, especially when you watch the prequels.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's not like the sequels are directed much better, though. Ayo.
Wow. Well, you mean let's just remake 4 and then make 5 stupid,
and then we got
make 6
and
even
then we
worse.
have nothing else. Yeah, like at least Lucas had like a. If you've ever read George Lucas's pitch for a sequel trilogy, like if you read the idea, it's like, okay, I'm kind of down for that, but they ignored him completely.
Yeah, and then there was also an entire comic book universe and like novel universe that
wasn't
well-received.
canon. Disney uncanonized it.
I know, and the fans are still mad about it.
Star Wars fans might be worse than Pokemon fans. Okay, so
I mean that's why I've lost so much. Basically,
this is why I watch Star Trek now.
Yeah, the Disneyification of Star Wars basically killed any of my interest in Star Wars.
It basically took all the special qualities of Star Wars away. It's not special anymore.
I think watching 8 in the theaters was like the point where I was like, I don't think I like this anymore.
Oh, I 8 was fine. I stayed through to 9. 9 was terrible.
I watched 9 during COVID on Disney Plus, and I was like, I didn't miss anything.
No, it's so bad. Somehow
Palpatine
returned.
Yeah, that was always stupid. My problem with 8 was the fact that like there's so many parts of that movie that were 100% pointless.
Oh yeah.
Like all the Rose and Finn shit. I'm like, what are we doing? Like this.
I didn't mind the diversion because at least it was something that's like it was kind of like the whole casino thing was like kind of entertaining.
It was.
It goes absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess this is a Star Wars cast now, but like my big issue with Last Jedi was it's a complete what's the word? What's the word? Bait and switch. Yeah. Where the whole movie they're talking about how like the Jedi needs to go away, you know, we need to change everything, right? Like they're emphasizing how things need to be different, right? And what's her name? What's her name? I'm blanking.
Old character or new character?
Is it Ren?
Oh,
no, Rey. Thank you. Yeah, like Rey, like in Kylo Ren, like they have their moment where they team up at the end. And then Kylo's like, here, let's, figure this shit out. Let's tear down these good and evil barriers, and let's try to fix all this stuff, with everybody else dead, because whatever his name is, the fake emperor died, right?
Oh, Snoke.
Snoke, right, yeah. But then she goes like, no, we have to keep things the same way we were. And it's like, what the fuck?
See, and
then the whole bit with like hologram Luke at the end.
Yeah. Ugh. See, for me, it was even earlier in the movie. The point where I completely got lost with 8 was like, so that was right before 8 came out. It was right when like Carrie Fisher had passed away. So I was wondering how they were going to
flows through space.
Okay, this is how I vision this whole thing. Like the whole thing is like she gets launched out of the thing. I'm like, in the theater, I was like, okay. I was wondering how they were going to handle that. I'm like, that's a bit dark. Then she fucking Mary Poppins her way back into the ship, and I'm just like, I was like, what the fuck? Like they killed Admiral Akbar for that? Like that was where I took that. Just give her an umbrella. She's straight up Mary Poppins her way back into the ship. Is the stupidest.
Kids, Star Wars kids. There's this great thing called Star Trek: The Next Generation. Okay, do yourselves a favor. And that shows education. You'll learn a lot about things through that show. But you can skip seasons 1 and 2. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that was the start.
That's a whole nother can of worms. Yeah,
fuck Star Wars tangent.
Yeah, fuck Star Wars. Anyways, let's get on to saying fuck Romance of the Three Kingdoms. All right, bye. Next. Okay, we'll be fair.
I'm sure.
Okay, so this is
have an audience.
Oh, I'm sure they're on like the 14th one. So anyway, yes, we played Romance of the Three Kingdoms for Wall of Fire. This was released in 1994, originally on the PC 98, got ports to Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn, the 32X, PlayStation, personal computer, and in Japan, a 3DO version on March the 26th, 1995. Now, I don't think Bill played the 3DO version because It's Japan only, and there is no English fan translation of that anywhere.
Also, if you
And these
can't
are
read
text
Japanese,
heavy fucking games. Okay, so I
game-
just played the PlayStation version.
the game's hard enough to understand in English, let alone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is it's the fourth in a long running series of games called Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which I believe is the name of a historical novel, which I would be much more interested in reading. So yeah, and it was made by Koei before they merged with Tecmo and became Koei Tecmo, and I believe this was like the biggest thing they did when they like first started.
So this is actually the second big thing. The first thing I was looking into this a little bit. This is like a sister kind of spin-off series from another similar series.
Oh yeah,
Nobunaga's Ambition, I think it's called.
Yes, I've played a little bit of that. It's easier to understand than this. From what I remember, that's more of like a grand strategy, like almost like 4X.
More tactical. It's
yeah.
Fun fact: the most I've played of that series is the fucking Pokemon crossover, Pokemon Conquest. Yes,
that game's pretty good.
It is. It is the weirdest crossover you'll ever play.
I mean, it's Pokemon Fire Emblem.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, it's basically what if Pokemon played like Fire Emblem, and it went completely under the radar because it came out on the DS in 2012.
It also got the advertising was the most confusing shit ever because like it's basically like, hey Pokemon kids, you like Nobunaga's Ambition?
And they're like, what?
No.
Do you like Fire Emblem? What's that?
Yeah, because I was pre-awakening, so people were still kind of like,
yeah.
The guys from Smash Brothers.
Yeah, but Pokemon Conquest, genuinely a hidden gem. Like, I know I was just shitting on Pokemon earlier, but like some of the side games I think are really interesting, and that one is like, if you like tactics games, go play Pokemon Conquest. You'd probably like it. And yeah, Nobunaga's Ambition is kind of similar to that, but it is leaning more into like the strategy. But it's one of them's on NSO, if I remember correctly. I think, I'm trying to remember if they put Romance and Nobunaga on the SNES. Hold on. Let me check. Because it would be in the Super Nintendo one. This is good audio content. I get to faintly hear my Switch too.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yeah, that series is still going, sort of. There was one in 2020.
Yeah. There. Let's see. Yeah, we got Nobunaga's Ambition. Yes, Romance of the Three Kingdoms is on here on the Super Nintendo.
So what's kind of crazy is
so you can play this on NSO, guys, if you want to see our issues with Romance of the Three Kingdoms, which we will get into.
What's kind of crazy is the Nobunaga games. Those were like hit or miss if they made it over here. I know there was one on the Genesis, and it was kind of like hit or miss. It was basically like very spotty if they would get it.
That's like one of the known ones.
Because
I think that one came out over here.
Yes, that was actually the first one. And then there was, I think the second one also did, because I think actually there was 3 that did come out over here. And then they just kind of stopped for a while until there was one, Iron Triangle on the Wii, I guess it had a US port.
Yeah, but so basically Koei was known for turn-based strategy games.
What's
they also
crazy
did stuff like PTO, Operation Europe. I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, they also did a fantastic game called Uncharted Waters, which is basically a pirate-themed JRPG.
Yes,
and I believe they put the Super Nintendo version out on NSO. Excuse me. That game is amazing, worth your time. A genuinely fantastic like pirate-themed RPG where you can be whatever. Like, think of Sid Meier's Pirates, but throw in like Final Fantasy turn-based battles in there.
Yes,
and it's really cool. A game well worth your time. And this was all before Koei became really well known for Dynasty Warriors, which I believe is an offshoot, like a spinoff of Romance of the Three Kingdoms. I think that was the original idea.
Yes, before it arguably became its own thing. You know what's crazy?
Its own beast entirely.
What's crazy about the Romance of the Three Kingdoms series, despite like say like Nobunaga not really getting all of them over, aside from 5, and I think the first one, all of these games have gotten localized. Like this series is popular over here.
It has its fans, and when I was playing this Romance of the Three Kingdoms, I like to me this is like trying to play one of those like complex board game RPG things that's like trying to be D&D or like Warhammer with like a game board, right? And you're having somebody try to explain the rules to you, but you're getting the rules explained to you in one of those like bars that has board games. So there's a lot of stuff going around and you're only like half understanding it and you're trying your best to figure it out. And it's like, no, you did this wrong. You can only roll this die at this time. If you do it at that time, then, you know, I can punch you in the dick. And you're like, well, you never said that before. And it's like, I did. I'm like, I didn't fucking hear you. That's what playing Romance of the Three Kingdoms feels like to my dumb Sonic loving ass.
Playing this game reminds me of anytime you're having like a board game night and someone's like, let's play Risk. And then you spend like 20 minutes trying to figure out how the fuck to play Risk.
Risk isn't that complicated though.
I've never been able to figure it out.
It's really not that bad.
I think it's because me and my friends are stupid.
Well, then I'll explain to you Risk one of these days. It's really not that bad.
Risk or like Stratego or some weird fucking games that I'm like.
Stratego can be a bit tough. At least with those games, they're not. Once you figure it out, it's really not that bad.
I also should throw in the caveat that we were all drinking, so that doesn't.
Sure, yeah. And I imagine with these games, once you figure them out, you're probably like, oh, I get it now. But like, it's basically think of this as like Civilization, but like with a giant wall where like a wall of fire you have to walk through before you can understand it. So basically, it's based on like this like specific era of China when there were all of these like different people trying to conquer different territories, right? And so you get 6 different scenarios that you can choose from to start with, which for most of us mean absolutely nothing. It's like, oh, this, in this time, this guy does this thing. It's like, okay, sure.
I feel like if you read the books, these games would make so much more sense.
I mean, it's just a book. It's not a series of books. Yeah, Romance of the Three Kingdoms. It's like, it's also like Journey to the West and some of these other like,
gotcha.
like classic Chinese literature. Like it's one of those, right?
It's multiple books.
That none of us have read. Yeah, like none of us have read like Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Water Margin, Journey to the West, Plum in the Golden Vase. Like these, like in Chinese like culture, they are very important, but over here they mean dick all. Like Black Myth Wukong is based on Journey to the West.
Yeah, I mean Dragon Ball Z is based. Dragon Ball is based off Journey to the West to a degree.
There you go. Yeah, exactly. So there is like I think there is some historical, because from what I remember, Romance of the Three Kingdoms was a historical novel. So there's some historical context, but of course it's it's fiction at the time. So yeah, you do this all. You kind of like set it up where it's like, oh, do you want like historical leaders or whatever, and you're like fictional, like whatever, right?
Did you accidentally start a match against yourself at one point?
I don't think so. No.
I was fucking around and I thought I was having more. What I thought I was doing was including more commanders, but it turned out I was just adding CPUs that you could control. So I was playing a multiplayer game against myself. That was funny for a bit.
I feel like that'd be an easy way to learn the game then.
No, it made it more confused. There was many cases in my brief attempt to play this. There was many points where I would get to a certain point, be absolutely stuck. It just start over. Like,
so you set it up and then you're given a map and then you have all these menus and sub menus and all these different things you can do. And in some sense, I was trying to think of it as like a Sim City or a Civilization where it's like, oh, you need certain grain or things to keep the population fed and things like, okay, you can invest in that, you can build up an army and invest in that, like you have all these things to like build it. Like it's a lot of like building it's the part in Civilization where you set up and build up your stuff, right? Where you're deep in and you're like, oh, I need to do science here and set these guys over here. But because there's not a lot of visual stimulation, it's all just like looking at menus. It gets really confusing, especially when if you don't have an instruction manual, which we don't, like,
I
you know,
looked
you're
up
just
the
like,
Saturn instruction manual. The thing's like 50 pages long. It is
yeah, yeah,
insane.
they're deep. And I even found a YouTube video of a guy playing it, and I was trying to follow along with him to get some idea, and even then, I was still felt lost.
So I
You
went on
know,
a forum and I had asked like the forum, like, well, I didn't ask, but I was reading
how,
some other people's questions.
you almost want to, yeah, make a post to be like, I know nothing. What the fuck am I doing?
The best description I saw from one person responding was they said this is the kind of game where you literally have to play it multiple times to get good. Like you just have to kind of
Yeah,
play it until you figure it out.
yeah, yeah. It feels like it's very much rooted in like tabletop RPGs. And I mean more like early Dungeons and Dragons, when like first edition, you know, where they had nothing and
Yeah.
you're just like trying your best to figure out. Like, I give it credit for the complexity and the ambition and trying to do this kind of complex simulation style video game, like as far back as like the NES. Like I think
Oh,
one of
yeah.
these is on the Famicom.
It is
You
the
know,
first
like,
one.
yeah, and I respect that ambition,
The
especially
second one
when,
came out over here on NES.
yeah, especially when these games still have an audience and people still vibe to them, right? So there's clearly something here.
This is
But
like somebody's like crack. Like this game is just like it's
yeah,
whenever one of these comes out, that this is their game. And
it just reminds me why strategy games have just never been my thing. I've tried so many times. There are some I like, but for the most part, they just completely. I just look at them and I just go, I need something with a little bit more action in them.
there's a reason why I
And no,
like
that doesn't mean RTSs, because RTSs freak me out even more. Because then, like, I'm trying to figure this stuff out, and then some faction comes out of nowhere and kicks the shit out of me, and then I'm all pissed off.
when it
So
comes to
no,
like these kind of games, the highest I can go is like tactical games like Fire Emblem or like Shining Force.
yeah, yeah. Like if they're turn based, I give them I do give them slack, because it's like, okay, I have a turn to try to figure this out. Like with Civilization, like what I like about Civilization is even if you don't quite know what you're doing with it being turn based, you can kind of fuck around and you'll eventually kind of figure it out, you know. And also they all have like pretty solid tutorials as well that kind of explain everything to you. And they've gotten more user friendly over the years. So I could imagine like the newest Romance of the Three Kingdoms is probably more user friendly, you know, like they've probably by the time they've gotten to,
I'd hope so.
well, the most recent one was 14, which came out in 2020. So they're still making them. And I imagine that one is probably the easiest to get into, where it's like, where I'm sure if we sat down and tried to play it, it's like, oh, okay, you know, they help you out a little bit more. But yeah, it again with strategy games, I mean, I like a little bit Age of Empires, like a little bit of Empire at War, like a bit of Civilization, you know, little bits here and there. But you know, this did not enter the lexicon, unfortunately, which is a shame, because I think the cover art is really cool. Like I could imagine myself grabbing a game like this, based purely on the cover, thinking it looks really cool, and then getting it home and playing it and going, I've made a horrible mistake.
See, when I was really big into retro collecting, like really big, I would see these games all the time, and they'd always be like fairly affordable, and I'd always be like, "Do I want to collect these? They look fun." And I'd always be like, something about it. I was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna go that far."
Yeah, again, as you said, it's for somebody, right? I mean, these games still, they do their thing. People like them, and I don't know. The older I get, the more I'm like willing to give them tries. You know, like maybe trying the Total War games or like Crusader Kings 3 or something like that. Like I'm willing to give these games more of a shot, because I feel like I could probably handle them a little bit better. But this game to me felt completely impenetrable, which is a shame, because I'm sure there's something here. And the footage I saw, like eventually you can get into like, you can have some like visual representations of battles and stuff. There's even some FMV throughout the PS1 version, which I thought was really cool.
Apparently,
Yeah.
that's lifted from a TV series that
Oh,
was
I believe it.
based off of Romance of the Three Kingdoms.
That's cool. You know, like
I
there
have
are
to ask, did you
there are
win your first battle completely by accident?
I couldn't even get to a battle.
Okay, I got to one, and
I couldn't figure it out because I was trying to do stuff and like the bottom, but then there was like the guy at the top doing stuff, and I was like, I was like trying to get to him to do a battle, but they're like, you can't because there's all this stuff in the way, and I just didn't know how to. I didn't know how to start a battle, so I never got that far, unfortunately.
My first win, I have no idea how I did it. It just happened, and I was like, I'm sitting there, I'm like going like, how?
That's awesome.
I don't understand.
Well, you got farther than me, so congratulations.
I had like multiple games I had to restart because like my people started rebelling, and I'm like, I don't know how to fix it. Restart. Try again.
I think in that case you just have to feed them.
I tried.
Or it's like or maybe you need like an advisor that has enough like political stats. Again, it's something.
I could not figure it out. I was like,
then there's all these characters with all these stats and there's all these things that you have to do, and I'm like, I'm not Burger Champ. I feel like Burger Champ could figure this shit out. You know, even then I feel like he'd figure it out and be like, I don't like it.
Yeah. This is like one of those games that just got me stressed, and I'm like, I don't know. This isn't fun.
It's a game I can confidently say is not for me, and I will never play it again.
Yeah.
But it's not to like discredit this or try to say it's like it's bad. I really don't think it is. It feels like it's well made for what it's trying to be. It just appeals to somebody that's not me, and that's fine.
That's my biggest takeaway with it is I'm like, this game is perfectly functioning for exactly the audience it's looking for. I'm just too stupid.
Yeah, in a world where it feels like everything is trying to appeal to everyone all the time, to get something like this, which is just so niche and is like proud of being niche and not budging at all, like I respect it. I have a ton of respect for this, but I'd rather play Gex.
Yeah, I'd rather play a lot of games.
But this is far from the worst game we've played on the system. I would give Syndicate another try though over this, because Syndicate, it reminded me a little bit of Syndicate, but I think Syndicate, at least it had some. It felt like it was like closer to what I would like. You know, I just needed to like. That's a game that if I stuck with it for a lot more, I would have figured it out. This game, I don't know if I could ever figure it out.
No,
you know,
what's throwing me off is the fact that there's apparently a 32 export. Like, what's going on there?
In Japan only.
That is such a the 32X is one of those systems where every time I see a port, I'm always like,
huh. Yeah, in Japan, and I feel like Japan cared less about it than we did.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones where I see it and I go,
Yeah. So, but yeah, if you guys want to give this game a try, go on your NSO, go find Romance of the Three Kingdoms, go give it a try, and let me know what you think. And fuck this, and go play Romance of the Three, or go play Uncharted Waters, New Horizons, because that's on there too, and that's a much better game.
So I'm looking at some of the reception on Wikipedia. Apparently, Next Generation commented that the PlayStation version is not essentially different from the Super Nintendo version. It lacks support for the PlayStation mouse. Most games did, yes. And they assessed the game itself as a refinement of the formula Koei had been using for years in both Romance of the Three Kingdoms and Nobunaga's Ambition, and judged that as a result. They call the game the best out of the series. I like how they insult it and then say it's the best in the series. That's fun.
Because they're saying it's not as good as Nobunaga's Ambition, which is accurate.
And then GamePro was unimpressed with the game. They remarked that it lacks any next generation enhancements. Yeah, because it's a Super Nintendo game. And compared it unfavorably to contemporary Iron Storm. What the fuck is Iron Storm?
Iron Storm.
Oh, I own this game.
That sounds familiar.
I own this game. It's a working design game.
Yeah.
Hitler's on the back of the cover.
Yeah.
What I remember from it.
Indeed,
I've never played it. I just own it. Because it was cheap and it was a working designs game.
Of course.
Huh. So for must play, okay, stay away, I'm just going to say pass.
You know, I feel the same.
Because it's not a bad game.
A respectful pass.
Yeah, because it's literally, it's not a bad game. It's honestly a perfectly fine game. I don't know how the 3DO port is, in all honesty, because I didn't play
It's
it.
probably not any different.
It's probably the same game, in all honesty. I don't know if it has the FMVs or not. It might just be a straight port of the SNES version. But
Yeah, that would be my guess. Yeah.
I don't want to insult the fans of this game or this game in general because it's really not a bad game. It's not for me. Too hard.
Yeah, exactly. It just is what it is.
Too much shit going on, and I just don't have the time for that.
Yeah, like I'm playing just a little bit of Nabunga's Ambition just for reference, and it's like this gets you into the action a lot quicker.
Okay.
So I'm playing this. I'm like, oh, okay. There's again, it feels a bit like, oh, like what am I doing? But it feels easier to get into. So yeah, just go play Pilot Wings, okay?
Go play. Do the penguin drop.
Or no, play Baseball Simulator 1000. Banger of a video game.
Nice. Yeah. Sorry to any Romance of the Three Kingdoms fans.
I feel like if by chance there are any Romance of the Three Kingdoms fans in here listening to this, two things. One, you're sick, but I say that as a compliment. And number two, I feel like you have to. I'm pretty sure you would understand that there are plenty of people like us who are just like, nope, I'm good, dog. Like these games have never been huge for a reason.
And number three, please explain.
Just explain. If you want to explain it to me, that'd be great.
I'll probably still be just as confused, but
like if I found somebody who was like willing to sit down and explain the game to me as I was playing it, that would be amazing. I would actually give it another shot.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I will stick to Call of Duty.
Yeah, I'll stick to whatever JRPG I'm playing at the time.
Because those are like complex, but I can get through them.
See, I can deal with a complex battle system. This game is just too complex, like for that. Even for me.
Yeah, for sure.
I'd rather play.
Just get me to the battle. Once you get me to the battle, then I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out.
Or you'll win by complete fucking accident, like I did.
Which is great. So good.
I was so lost. I'm like, what did I do? And then I couldn't replicate it.
So yeah. Yes, that's gonna do it for this week's edition of the 3DO experience,
where we talked more about Star Wars and Star Trek than the actual game. That one guy on YouTube's gonna get pissed.
I mean,
if he's still here.
I mean, there are Star Trek games and Star Wars games from this era, but none on 3DO, sadly. Oh, we already talked about Rebel Assault, so fuck.
Yeah.
God damn it.
No Star Trek, though. I don't think so, anyways.
I mean, there were Star Trek games at this time, but I don't think any of them came out in 3DO, which is a shame. Because then I could talk about Deep Space Nine, and because there's a couple DS9 games where you play as Benjamin Sisko, like in a 2D action game, which is like Crossroads of Time, I believe is what the game. Kind of neat.
Or that Voyager FPS on PS2.
On PS2, done by Raven. Yeah.
I swear everybody owned it, even if they weren't a Star Trek fan. It just seemed to be one of those games.
I mean, it's made by Raven, so of course it's good.
It was a fine game from what I've played of it. I just haven't.
Oh yeah,
a decade.
That's the thing. Trek isn't really known for its video games because it's not as action oriented as Star Wars, so it's a little more difficult to make like a video game out of it. I mean, there's been plenty of attempts, and there've been some decent ones and some not good ones, but there isn't like any like there's no like KOTOR on here. You know, no like genre defining video games in the Star Trek lineup, unfortunately. But
they should just make it a visual novel. That would work.
I feel like they have at some point.
Probably. All right. Well, just barely an hour to this one. Anyways, guys, once again, thanks for joining us on the 3DO experience. You can find 3DO on all the podcasting
on the
podcasting platforms. Check us out on the Superpod Network, superpodnetwork.com. New site, check it out. Everything's still there, or it will be eventually. And check out all the wonderful shows on the network. Novel Console's back, guys. Sort of.
I hope so.
Hopefully.
I hope so, yes. And hopefully by this time next week, the new Thrack Ops will be out.
Nice.
So I'm working on Black Ops 4. I'm going to try to record it over the weekend. I have some extra time. I took a couple days off, so I have some free time starting this weekend. So I'm going to try to knock that one out.
Nice.
There isn't as much to say as I was hoping, but
Yeah.
hang in there, kids.
And if you guys are into watching me suffer, watch the latest GNC. Alex explained the Jersey Shore to me and quizzed me on it, and it was a disaster.
I will be listening to that when I get the
Oh,
chance.
it is.
I've been too busy listening to all this fucking music we have to listen to now.
I know, right? All I know is like I didn't like those people very much, and I don't like them anymore now that I did before after learning about them.
That sounds about right.
So yeah, it was an experience, and next is Dance Moms. God help me.
Oh yeah, Star Trek Resurgence. I believe it's like a Telltale style game.
Oh, okay.
In the Star Trek universe, but I don't think people liked it.
Well, darn. But
oh yeah, there was a Voyager game this year. I forgot.
Oh yeah.
I'll watch the show first before I play any of the games.
Yeah. Anyways, guys, though, once again, thank you for joining us, and we will see you all later.
Bye-bye.